as Trump's path to the White House is once again set, 4 specific stocks are already showing huge pre-surge signals that mirror their 2016 patterns. One of these rallied 695% during Trump's last term, and my analysis suggests history is about to repeat itself. Now, if you're short on time, you don't want to watch the whole video, that's okay. I've identified 4 stocks. I'm going to tell you what they are right away. Tesla, Palantir, Valero, and Caterpillar. If you don't want to run away, that's okay, but you're going to miss the reasons and the logic and the charts and the analysis and everything else, but it's completely up to you. The data shows that institutional money is already quietly positioned, just like they did in 2016. And my golden retriever and I, who's also my chief research assistant, have uncovered some pretty extraordinary options flow data where the smart money is going and where it's heading. During Trump's first term, the companies aligned with his policies saw an average gain of 127%. But here's what's different right now. These companies are sitting on triple the cash reserves, half the debt, and are perfectly positioned for his America First 2.0. And if you want to really spot these breakouts, not just for these 4 stocks, but for many others out there, well, you got to learn what the rules are that makes a breakout exceptionally likely. And there are rules for it, and that's what traders look at, and that's how they make money. And I used to doubt that that was possible. That's the mindset I came from. I thankfully overcame that by getting a little job in a bank and then being taught by some smart people how it works. And I believe everybody deserves to understand that. So if you have 30 minutes after this video, you want to watch my masterclass for free and learn how to spot those breakouts, and trust me, there are going to be a lot of breakouts over the next couple of weeks, then head over to felixprehn.org/get-free or just write down that URL and watch it. And you will never look at a stock chart again the same way. That's all I can say. That's my promise to you. felixprehn.org/get-free. So let's start with stock number 1, Tesla. Massive parallel to 2016 here. And you might go, okay, yeah, Elon's on board with Team Trump, but didn't Trump say he doesn't really like EVs and he's going to abolish all the EV subsidies? Well, yes, exactly. And that is insanely good news for Tesla. Now, you might think Tesla would suffer with less subsidies, but it's the opposite. Tesla's competitors rely heavily on government support to stay afloat. Tesla sits on a $33 billion cash pile. All the other EV makers are not able to put out cars, EVs that is, at a similar price point to Tesla without subsidies. They would basically be losing money. That's because they're not selling as many, their cost per unit is higher, they're less efficient, and so on. So Tesla actually kneecaps its competition by making that subsidy go away. Tesla's cost per vehicle dropped 40% over the last 4 years. The competitors are not even matching Tesla's 2017 cost structure. And then Elon's going to get basically the key to every government department. He's going to be able to fire everybody and streamline it and so on. And the next stock is going to talk a lot about that. But of course, what that also means is all these commissioners, all these permit people who've been getting in the way of Elon's plant expansions, his SpaceX, everything Elon's doing and everything Tesla is doing, well, that's going to become a lot easier, don't you think, if you are the guy who's in charge of the budgets? So how do we trade it? If we look at the stock chart here, I'm recording this pre-market. Tesla right now flying up to $288. The resistance is at 300. That is market maker resistance. So the market makers should be selling at $300 unless the market starts to really roll up here. But you will know that if you look at tradevision.io, we'll give you the data up to date. We update it all the freaking time. It's live, and you can check it out for a week, actually. And it's not something that I'm endorsing. It's something that I'm building. So I believe you should have the same high quality data that everybody else has. By everybody else, I mean all the hedge fund guys, all the Wall Street guys, but retail investors don't usually have that. And if you want to spot these kind of breakouts before they actually happen, like the July breakout, for example, was a really nice textbook case here. Would have been very predictable. And you could have just traded it up from 200 to 260. That would have been, what, like 30% up? And then you exited again based on our rules, and you would have started again on the next one up and so on. Watch the masterclass. That's really all I want to say on that. You can also watch the if you click on smart money here, smart on the right, you can also check out what's going on live as the market opens. Just type in Tesla, and you will then see the options flow for Tesla. And maybe you're thinking, I don't really understand options flow. Well, there's only one thing you need to understand. I'd set the premium filter to large, and that way you get to see what the big guys are doing. And then it'll show you what's coming in live, and it'll tell you whether it's bearish or bullish. So that's kind of all you need to really watch to see what the big boys are up to. Right, let's move on to Palantir then. And maybe you think you missed the boat on Palantir because it's above $50. I think we're just at the beginning, and here is why. Elon Musk proposed a $2 trillion federal budget reduction plan. What is that going to do with Palantir? Well, who else is going to allow governments to get rid of vast numbers of staff? And he has said, by the way, they would get probably like a 2-year severance and that kind of thing. So he's not putting people out on the street without no notice. But the only company out there that I know that could actually run government departments at a fraction of the cost and 3 times the speed is Palantir. They already have contracts with the Inland Revenue, the SEC, Department of Defense, the Health Department, all that stuff. So they know the government. They know, of course, all the intelligence services. So the switch to literally run every government department and do it at a fraction of the cost is very, very limited. And I strongly believe that Tesla is run on Palantir. It's just Elon obviously won't admit it, but we did a video on that a long time ago. And it makes a lot of sense. Every car manufacturer out there worth their salt is using Palantir, from BMW to Mercedes to, all these guys are. Stellantis, all the big ones are. So, of course, Tesla is doing it too. If Tesla had written their own software that was as good as Palantir, I think Elon would be selling it, and he's not, which makes me think that he's using Palantir. Either way, huge opportunity for them. US government revenue is already up 40% year over year. And that is before this Trump administration looking to reduce the size of the government by 30%. How do you cut costs and still deliver? Well, Palantir is your answer. It's very simple. So I would not be surprised if government revenue doesn't double. And you might not see that in the next quarter because it takes a bit of time to get these contracts in. But knowing Palantir, they will simply provide the software for free because they know no one's ever going to turn it off again. That's what they've done in the past. And once you're the operating system of the US government, it's very, very hard to get rid of you. So it's recurring revenue, and it's going to absolutely make this stock fly. And it's flying at $53 right now. We're well above the resistance, which means we've beaten the market makers to a pulp, which of course is absolutely freaking glorious. Again, the real breakout that we saw, the last one, was here at $27. If you wanted to have spotted that, you can't spot it again at 27, but you can spot the next one, then watch the masterclass because you'll learn how to spot them. Yeah, and trade vision is also very useful. I mean, we said these indicators, they're not always 100% right because nothing is. Like we said, you should exit here at $41, and then we told you to buy it again at 51, and you might think that's madness. But actually, that wasn't madness. That was just prudency. That's good risk management. We dropped here significantly, and therefore a trader should probably have exited at about $43. If you have a 10-year time horizon, you don't really care about exit signals. You just want to look for the breakout entry signals so you don't miss the next 100% run up. Now let's talk about Valero Energy. Sounds like Italian ice cream, doesn't it? Now, nobody ever talks about Valero Energy because it isn't particularly sexy. Had a horrible rundown here. It started at $184, right now trading at $131. So why the heck would this benefit? Well, you see the pre-market? And now we're already up here like $6, that jump up. And now that jump up is also above the 50-day moving average line. We're taking out all the resistance here. Things are about to get interesting. They are a pure play refining giant that is perfectly positioned for drill, baby, drill. And they have about 33 billion in revenue. They beat analyst estimates already with pre-Trump because they're a pure refiner play. Pure plays like this often outperform when policy shifts create tailwinds. And Trump's energy independence agenda is definitely the mother of all tailwinds. So think about it this way. When domestic drilling increases, crude prices typically decrease, right? But Valero doesn't drill, they refine. They're essentially a toll booth between crude oil and gasoline. Lower input costs plus steady demand equals wider margins. Their refineries are also positioned in key locations across the country, perfectly situated to process increased domestic production. This is just about efficiency, really, being in the right place at the right time. Most analysts and most investors don't know this. Under Trump's previous administration, refining margins expanded by 28%. That's pretty sweet. When you get in on this, is it today? Is it a little bit later? Well, watch the masterclass. It'll answer the question for you. You're going to want to watch out for volume today. You're going to want to watch out for that 50-day moving average line. Is it trending up or is it still, going flat? And once you know that, you'll know exactly what to do, and you will very likely do it very well. Now, fourth but not least, it is Caterpillar. There's yellow machines that are digging up the country. Winston is a particular fan of them. He likes anything that digs. And they're in a good position. Sitting on 5.6 billion in cash. They have a 28 billion in order backlog. That basically means guaranteed future revenue. Now, infrastructure plays about timing and government policy. Caterpillar is perfectly transitioned and positioned for the Made in America agenda. And in my opinion, they're the only company really that is positioned to handle major infrastructure projects everywhere across the country. Because these guys aren't just constructions, right? This is construction, yes, mining, energy, and transportation, and a touch of financial services, more like leasing and stuff. But it does kind of mean they touch upon everything that's likely about to happen. Under previous infrastructure initiatives, Caterpillar's order backlog grew by 35%. I think it could be substantially larger this time around. And if you look at the stock, I actually really like the setup. We had a nice breakout here at sort of 358. We took it all the way up to 400, where the resistance sat. And then we drew in a little blue line here, and we basically said, get out at 384 because we were dropping off. But really, the sideways pattern is nothing but what I would call an exhaustion pattern. That's what happens to stocks, right? And we are literally breaking out. As I'm recording this, we are now trading at $407, above the resistance, above all of it. So this looks like a classic resistance case in my book. Watch out for big volume today. That's how you confirm it, and watch the masterclass to really make sure you know what you're looking at. So there you have it, folks. The market is going to fly. There will be lots of opportunities. Make sure you're taking advantage of them. Watch the masterclass. Get yourself some quality data like tradevision.io. There's a week's free trial you can check out. And if you got some value out of this video, share it with a friend or a golden retriever. And I hope to see you on the next one. Palantir just knocked it out of the park. They absolutely crushed Q3 earnings.